So today we're going to be targeting your upper back. We're going to be going over 4 exercises for shoulder blade mobility. So why do we care about the shoulder blade so much? So the shoulder blade actually gives stability to the entire shoulder joint, especially as you're going overhead, like doing shoulder press or anything reaching up. If your shoulder blade can't move in that direction, then it can cause grinding or tearing in the shoulder, and we don't want that. We want to make sure that can move fluidly and glide along your rib cage so that you can reach overhead, so you can move in all different directions and it doesn't stick in any particular area. So we're going to be going over 4 exercises, so going forward and back, up and down for the shoulder blades. And I want to do one more exercise at the end that I think is actually the most important one for the shoulders. So stick around for that. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat or in the comments and I'll get to them when I can. Now, are these the only 4 ways of working these muscle groups? Absolutely not. So there are many different exercises that target these. These are just the ones I found work well for me and for my clients. But if you have another exercise that you find works well for you, that's totally fine. But for the first one we're gonna do is a scapular push-up. And this is targeting a muscle right here that goes from your rib cage to your shoulder blade. It's called the serratus, and it pushes the shoulder blade forward and tight against that rib cage. So what we're gonna do is go to the ground. And one moment. So on the ground, you're going to go into a kneeling position, and just like a push-up, but your hands are going to be right underneath your shoulders. Okay, so just like a push-up, hands right underneath the shoulders. From here, you're going to straighten your elbows and then bring your shoulder blades together and then pushing out, and see how my arms don't bend? So we're engaging the muscles right in here in your rib cage. These are stabilizing muscles for those shoulder blades. So you're just moving 1 inch down, pinching the shoulder blades together, and then pushing back up, pulling them apart. So this is called protraction of the shoulder. And a lot of people miss this one. They use a lot of their pecs. We don't want to use the pecs on this one. Your pecs, that's why we keep the elbows straight, pushing back and forth with the shoulder blades. So you want to do about 10 to 15 of those for 3 sets. Should feel burning right here in that rib cage as you do them, trying to really push through that movement. Next one. So I'm going to be using a ball for this. This is called a T exercise. So it works the muscles right between your shoulder blades in here, called the rhomboids. So you're going to lay right on top of a ball. You could do this laying in a bed as well. And you're going to bring your hands out to the sides, right in line with your shoulders. So from here, you're going to lift up to the back, pinching your shoulder blades together. You should feel that right between your shoulder blades. Now you want to have your hands right at shoulder level. So don't have them too low or too high. It's right straight back. So going up, hold for a second, and then back down. You should feel this right between your shoulder blades. And again, doing about 10 to 15 of those at least. So that's called retraction of the shoulder blades. So that serratus and that rhomboid work together to actually hold your shoulder blade down to your rib cage and flat, so it's not wobbling on your rib cage. If you think about it, if you're trying to do an overhead press and your shoulder blade was wobbling like this, how much harder would that be to do it? So those 2 muscles help give you that stability. One second. So, hold a moment. Got tipped a little bit. All right, so the next exercise we're gonna do is for the traps, which help lift the shoulders up towards your ears, and they actually support the entire shoulder girdle, this whole area across here. So for this one, I like to use 2 dumbbells. You could do this just as easily with 2 grocery bags or anything that you can weight down where you can hold at your sides. So you're gonna hold your hands in a neutral grip. That means you're not forward, you're not back, you're holding right at your sides. From here, we're gonna do a little bit of a twist on a shrug. So you're gonna bring your shoulders up towards your ears. This is called a shrug. But then what I want you to do when you go down, I want you to try and pull your shoulders all the way down, let the weight carry it to where you're getting a stretch in your shoulders. You should feel that pull all the way down. Some people actually hold their shoulders up constantly a little bit. So we're trying to let the weight, we're using that weight to pull it down and back into that fully stretched position. So going up and then fully let that release into an elongated position. You might find your shoulders are actually going a little lower each time. I like this one because it's not only strengthening the traps, it's getting them used to being in a fully lengthened position as well. So you're going up and then fully down. Especially in my right side, I feel this sort of let go of that tension as I do this. So it's a great exercise. I find that it's not only for strength, but also helps relieve that tension in my neck. I tend to be tight in this right trap right in here. So we just worked the upper traps. Now we're gonna work the lower traps, which are right down in here. They pull down and back on the shoulders. So we're going to do an exercise called a Y, all right? So this one, you're gonna start with your hands out to the side a little bit, so you're not straight in front, out a little bit, and one foot in front of the other, so you're leaning forward. From here, you're gonna lift up to the back. Now, here's the thing, I could lift my arms, but it's not so much actually an arm exercise. You're trying to actually lift by pulling, see how my entire shoulders pull down and back? So you wanna lift up by trying to pull your shoulders down and back. So you're feeling that right in the middle upper part of your back, right in here, sort of at the base of the shoulder blades. We're pulling the entire shoulder blade back and down, okay? This one is very common to miss. People don't work their lower traps as much. So they rely on upper traps and doing things, they'll do more like this, where their shoulders are coming up high, but we want shoulders down and back. See how my hands can actually go much higher? If they're up like this, this is about as high as I can go mobility-wise. But if it's down and back, see how my arms naturally pull this way, even though I haven't done anything different with my arms. So, going up into a Y position, really pulling those shoulders down and back. All right. So that was exercise number 4. So we've gone up, down, forward, and back. Now we're going to combine some of these into our 5th exercise. So to do this, I would recommend having an exercise ball. I think they're really useful for this exercise. Bear with me. Is this actually live? Rotten Mouse, yeah, it's actually live. So we are going over a 5th exercise for shoulder stability. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat. So what you're gonna do is, kneeling right in front of the exercise bowl, you're gonna put your hands with your fingers pointing up. You don't want your hands together, you want them apart. From here, you're gonna push down into the ball, See how this sort of pushes my shoulders forward? So we're engaging that serratus muscle. And then from here, you're gonna roll up to the front. So this is getting that rotation motion of the shoulder blades as you're doing this. We're combining that protraction and then lifting up to the front, rolling up, and then rolling back. Trying to maintain that pressure on the ball though. So don't let the ball push you back up. Try and press the ball down into the ground as you roll. And that will help engage that muscle across your rib cage. You're pushing all the way through. This is a great exercise for that shoulder stability, that rotation of the shoulder, so it's able to move through its full range. As you get better at it, you might start where you can only go a couple inches, and that's okay. As you get better, you can go a little higher, and then a little bit higher, where you get all the way up, and that's really gonna give you that range. So commonly in shoulder press, if you're pressing up and you feel like, oh, I can't go any higher, that usually means you need to work a little bit on this rotation, or it can help to work on this rotation to really be able to get that full range of motion. If you think about it, it's the same thing, that upwards rotation. So that, I would say, if you can only do one of these, I would try and do that pressing forward, because it combines that forward motion, that upward motion, that downward, where you get that full range. It's a great place to work on shoulder blade mobility. So, got a couple more minutes. If you guys have any questions, I would definitely incorporate that into your workout if you can. So, Rotten Mouse says, I have a lot of trouble getting upstairs or standing from a sitting position. I can walk fine. Do you have any exercises I can watch that you think would help with those? So trouble going up and down stairs or standing from a sitting position. So let's talk about that a little bit. So primarily, that's these muscles right in here, the quads, because as you push up, these muscles engage and help straighten your knee to going up. So what I would recommend, what you could do is, let's see, it's a little bit hard for a standing sitting. What you could do is try going from a little bit higher of a chair, if you can, and work on that standing sitting position. A little bit higher of a chair will make it a little easier. So you could start even like this, leaning against a wall, and then work at just bending your knees slightly and then up the wall. So just a little bit down. You can feel those muscles right here engage. You can even take your hands and feel right here where your quads are. There's 4 muscles right here. They're called the quads. And then up. So you just start like that, just bending your knees, and then back up. Because the goal is to help strengthen those thigh muscles, especially right in here. That would be where I would start. Slowas FRS. Dr. Mike, is that you? So I know there's another Dr. Mike who's also bald, but we're a little bit different, for sure. The good guy, is this real? Yeah, this is real. Rotten Mouse, okay, thanks for the help. Hope that helps. Definitely is a little bit tough. Ray says, hey coach, is the answer to male loneliness lifting heavy weights? Usually not. Heavy weights are, so lifting is a really good thing for your overall health. I would recommend it. I really think resistance training is so good for maintaining muscle health and long, healthy life. But loneliness, that's a whole nother thing. So, if you guys have any more questions, just another minute and then I'm going to be calling it a day. But I would highly recommend working on that shoulder stability, especially in that rotation. So pushing, you could even do it against a wall, pushing to the front and then rotating up. So I hope to see you guys next time. We'll be doing these every week on Wednesday at about 2 p.m. Pacific time. And if you have any questions or comments, let me know and I will try and get back to give you answers the next time we meet. So sometime probably next week. But thank you everyone for being here. I hope to see you guys next time.